Good morning. You are seeing the correct time. It is 4:21 a.m. Insomnia strikes again. Today is day 29. Talk about your least favorite thing, and it was originally your least favorite thing in the world, but I think that's a little too all-encompassing. There's so many things that I don't like. So I'm just going to say my least favorite thing is television shows that show what is in essence an abusive relationship as a romance. I don't know how many of you would remember Moonlighting, but with David and Maddie, that was supposed to be a romantic relationship, and yet they were constantly hurling insults at each other. They said horrible, terrible things to each other that just so hurtful, and she was constantly slapping him, and I hate you, and on and on. And at the time I thought, oh, that's so romantic, but I was in my early 20s, and that's how I had been treated. I didn't know any better. I think another prime example of it is the relationship between House and Cuddy. Everyone was like, oh, they have such sparks between them, and this intense sexual chemistry. No, they were mean to each other. They were abusive. She was physically abusive to him, and he, House is a handicapped character, and she physically abused him, and I have a real problem with that. That's not romance. That's not love. Hurling insults at each other and setting up a tripwire or stealing, his cane, making him walk up the stairs, him telling her that she looks like a hooker, that she's a terrible doctor, she sucks as a mother, and all these things they said to each other were just horrible. And then they end up in a relationship, and we sat through one episode of basically House and Cuddy having hot, sweaty sex that was sort of and still, it was her constantly trying to change him, and him twisting himself into knots trying to be what he thought she wanted, and neither one of them accepting the other for who they were without expecting them to change. And I just, and then in the end, it didn't work, did it? They broke up, and it ruined the show. So I think what my biggest problem with it is that you had these teenage girls, these young women, who watched it and thought, oh, this was so romantic, and House and Cuddy, they're canon, bitch, and that it was so fabulous, and they were so in love, and blah blah blah. No, they were abusive toward each other. They verbally abused each other. That's not foreplay. No, I'm sorry. If you love someone, you respect them, and you treat them with respect, and you treat them with dignity, and you don't say that their blouse makes them look like an Afghani hooker. And you don't say when they say, I'm going home, and then you say, to what? It's just, or I think the clincher for me was, I love you, but I wish I didn't. What the hell? You have to put a little caveat on that. I mean, come on. I don't know what those writers were thinking. But that was not romantic. That is not romance. And so that is the thing that I like the least, are these abusive, destructive relationships that are put across as romance and, true love and, happily ever after. No. If you love someone, then you accept them as they are. If you love someone, you respect that person. You treat that person with dignity. Anything else is lust. And it ain't gonna last. So that's what I like the least, are romantic relationships that are abusive and hurtful and disrespectful. So, don't like Huddy. And luckily for you, tomorrow is the last day that you have to look at me and listen to me. So you can do a little cheer. Yay! I'll see you tomorrow.